how does the NCO Corps separate us as an American military, U.S. military, from everybody else in the world? As I was putting this conversation together last night, I was thinking about that. I've never asked that question to one of our senior officers. And so I'm going to turn it around on you while I have you here and ask you that question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the NCO Corps so important to the U.S. military, and why does it set us apart from everybody else?
Because I think there's a variety of reasons here, but I think one of the most important ones is that NCO Corps has been able to demonstrate their loyalty to their commanders, the loyalty to the people that they serve, but also the loyalty to the troops. And to me, that was absolutely essential throughout all of this. Before we were talking a little bit about, I think I'd mentioned that I had a sergeant major, Bill Thetford, who was my sergeant major at JSOC. He was my sergeant major at SOCOM. He was my sergeant major at CENTCOM. We were together for, 8+ years, longer than the average American marriage. So we were together a long time. But Bill was a guy, I learned so much from him. Calm, collected, smart, articulate, thoughtful about the things he's doing. He has the ability to look down and see what's happening with the troops and in the organization, but he also has the ability to communicate to senior leaders in a way that makes just made a lot of sense and provided great, candid, articulate feedback to me and others as we went through this. So to me, I think that stood out. We have made a huge investment in our non-commissioned officer corps. We have academies, we have selection processes. We've created a whole architecture around putting people into these positions and making sure that they get the requisite skills and training that goes along with this. We've brought non-commissioned, especially in the SOC, we brought non-commissioned officers out and we put them in the master's programs and other things like this that really made them, the smartest non-commissioned officers that we can find and put them in these situations. It just made them better. So, to me, it's been about their ability to, look up and down. It's been about the investments that we made in there. It's been about the trust that we've kind of developed with our non-commissioned officers over a number of decades here.
I was telling the Sergeant Major yesterday that I was very fortunate, both as a platoon leader and as an ODA commander, to have absolutely phenomenal senior enlisted and team sergeant and platoon sergeant when I went, and really took me under their wing, and didn't allow me to fail.
Yeah.
Really saw my success was their success, and invested in that relationship. How does the relationship change though, and how does it evolve from a second lieutenant and a platoon sergeant in an infantry platoon to the CENTCOM commander and the CENTCOM senior enlisted?
Yeah, I there was a concept a number of years ago. You don't hear as much about it anymore, but it was one that I really liked. It was called the directed telescope, and it was the idea of getting somebody out there to be your set of eyes, looking at something and providing you candid feedback on that. And again, I'll go back to talking about Bill Thetford, because he was my guy for a long, or my sergeant for a long period of time, and he did that all the time for me. And there were times when we traveled together, but there were also times when he went out and did things by himself or with other members of the NCO support chain to look at what we were doing, and then came back and provided feedback to us on all that. And to me, that was absolutely essential. And so I think the role changes as he becomes much more of a personal advisor. In some cases a whisperer about to help you think through a lot of things. Leadership becomes lonely, as you know. When you get up to the top, there's not a lot of people you can go to. You have a tendency to isolate, so you do have to have people in your circle that you can go to, and it can't always be the chaplain. It's got to be, or the psychologist, or your wife. You got to have somebody that's got kind of the professional Kavorka here that understands what you're dealing with, understands the impacts of the things that you're doing here, and who can, in a very trustful way, share insights with you that can kind of help inform your thinking and decision making through this. That's what Bill was able to do for me. invaluable.
And that continuity is important.
Yeah.
I think we've
Yeah.
seen that. I talk a lot about General Linder. General Linder had Dave Gibbs. And they spent years,
Yeah.
3 or 4 commands together. But you develop that relationship where it's a partnership.
Yeah, no, it very much is, and that wasn't always popular, frankly, and at a couple places along the way, I had to fight to keep Bill with me throughout this, but it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing for me, and I think it was the right thing for the organization. So I agree with you. The idea of continuity is really important.